Okay, welcome everyone to our Focus Forward series. We are in class number 5, I think. New month, and we are so excited about what's happening. We are so excited about the homework that y'all are turning in, seeing how you are getting more and more clarity around your time management, how to make the Mary Kay business fit into your life, your priorities, your other, expectation, other commitments and things like that. Also continuing to grow that contact list. We were just talking about the fact that that is an ongoing process. That is not something that is ever finished because we're always meeting new people. And we're always thinking of new people. And at our parties, which we'll be learning about in the next couple of weeks, we meet even more people and are able to get referrals from our new customers. So we are teaching you how to work that full circle so that you will see how this business literally builds on itself. So keep up the good work. I love the conversations that I'm having with many of you. I know Cheryl and Tanya would agree that as you are continuing through these steps, you're seeing how they do build together and they create a cycle that will grow momentum. And so you think about like revving an engine and getting those tires going, and you can have a car and then, the car could die, but you would still keep rolling, right? That's momentum when things keep rolling, even without the pedal to the metal. And so that's what we want for you, is to build a business where the momentum grows. And so you can put the same amount of effort into the business and have exponentially more results with the same effort. And that was something that just in my mind, the way that I think when I was looking at what I wanted to do as a career, I was very attracted to the fact that not only did I have unlimited upward mobility, where I didn't have to wait for someone to quit, retire, or die for me to get a promotion, but I also loved that I didn't have to work harder to make more. That if I continue to do the right things consistently with the right amount of attitude and effort and the right skill set, that I would be growing in my momentum and growing my customer base, growing my team, which meant growing my income. And so you are going to start seeing more and more how these steps will work together so you can work smarter, not harder. And so before I pass this over to our directors who are going to start our training tonight, I did just want to open it up for any nuggets of what was, if you had an aha moment of, wow, I never thought of this before, or a BFO moment, blinding flash of the obvious, like, oh my gosh, how did I never do this before? Or maybe oh my gosh, I used to do that. Why did I stop? And now you're getting that back going, or a word of encouragement for your other consultants for just saying, hey, I did this and this is what works. So we just want to open the floor for y'all to unmute yourselves if there's anything that you want to share, to just encourage each other and give us an update on how things are going. Yes, Lana.
I've been growing my contact list just by going through stuff and looking at names and stuff like that. And this past week, I talked to one of the ladies that I've worked with now for 4.5 years. And she's known that I've been selling Mary Kay for 3 of those 4.5 years. And she said, hey, why don't you come on over and let's look at some makeup? And so I went over and sold her $80 worth of lipsticks on Saturday. So,
oh, how fun.
I know.
I love it. Lipstick, it's like the gateway product.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a facial in the whole 9 yards in a couple of weeks. So
I love
she's
it.
Gonna like that. She's going to enjoy that. Good job. All right,
Yes, Nicole.
I have 2 things. One is I learned you really have to be flexible. I took my nice schedule and I planned it all out. I was going to work this time and this time. And then my husband was gone all day. I had to run to Costco. I'm still putting away Costco. So I'm just like, those of you at home with kids, be flexible. Like, it just doesn't always go as planned. And my second little thing is, you think your customers are all set and stuff. And my sister works in healthcare and she took off her mask. She didn't have to wear it at work anymore. That's the new thing. And
really?
she calls me up. She's like, I apparently have really dark circles under my eyes, and I think I need to start wearing something on my face because this doesn't look right anymore. I was like, okay, I'll bring some stuff up this weekend. So I was like, oh, we talked about CC cream and stuff, and it's super easy. So hopefully, she'll buy into it a little bit.
Good. Thank you for that. I did not know that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there are people that are just not, and they do. It's like, we are so happy to see your beautiful face. Let us help you. What can we do? Like, you deserve, like, we want to see it, Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else have anything they want to share? All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to kick off by talking about confirming. Okay. So, and I don't mean like confirming, like, oh, confirm that you are here. I mean, confirming your appointments, because I think a lot of times what we could do is we could get really excited when we get a booking, right? We get really excited. We put her on our books, and all of a sudden our calendar and our schedules don't look like snow. And we're just like, yes, we're good. And then you decide to go golfing and you're like, oh, my job's done. And we tend to forget. And then we realize like, oh, I have an appointment tomorrow, so I can't wait to see her. And we hope that they will show up. And we want to believe that everyone is as sharp as we are and writes stuff down and doesn't make other plans or doesn't forget. And we actually want to think that everybody has a calendar or a schedule or a Google Calendar or something that they go by. Because we do, right? So we naturally think the entire world does, but that's not how it works. So when it comes to communication, to me, feel like that is one of our number one job is to communicate, right? If you don't communicate, then it's kind of like that's where the ball gets dropped. So think of it this way. It's like getting your dental cleaning, right? They schedule it like, 3, sometimes 6 months out. And they're like, oh, we'll see you, next New Year at, 8:30. And you're just like, and it's literally, July. And are you really going to remember the new year that you have that? You may not even have your calendar that goes that far out yet. So you're just like, yeah, sure, put me down. But you are hoping that they are going to remind you, right? That you have that coming up. So it's the same thing. It's that common courtesy of reminding people, confirming with people is the same kind of like courtesy we want, right? And when we make a hair appointment, that they confirm with us, a dental appointment, they confirm with us, a doctor's appointment, they confirm with us, parent teacher conferences, they confirm with us. So as a common courtesy, we want that. And so other people want the same thing. And so when I am doing my communication or working my communication in my business, I am very passionate about communication. I will definitely, it's not one and done for me because I know how people are, and whether it's intentionally or not intentionally, they get busy, they forget, they never wrote it down, they double booked, they forgot they were going camping that same weekend that they booked something with you. Right. So they forget these things. So it is my job. And that's why I'm very passionate about the before the appointment steps, is because I want to set it up to be as successful as possible. And I want to know beforehand, if at all possible, that she's not coming, so I can put someone else in that time slot. Or I can go about my day and not sit there all dressed up, makeup on, trays filled, all this stuff, and that person never shows up. Right. Okay, so I like to confirm appointments starting 3 to 4 days before the actual appointment. Now, this really does depend. So let's just say today it's Tuesday and I booked her for this Thursday. Well, obviously 4 days, that's not going to work, right? But I am also going to start that confirming process as quickly as possible, not that same night, but depending on when you actually book her. So if I booked her last week, I'm going to probably go about 4 days before her appointment. Just say, hey, I'm so excited to get together with you this week. I have you down for whatever day, whatever time. I also want to confirm that there are 3 of you total still attending. That way I have enough product and seating available for you. So, please let me know and confirm your appointment. So I am planting that seed. So just in case last week when she was excited and booked with me and never wrote it down, the week of her appointment is coming up. And so I want to remind her, that way she has a reminder of what is happening this week and she doesn't forget. So I will do that. Then I'll also, again, so I confirm, and then I remind them one day before the appointment. So like if her appointment's on Thursday, on Wednesday, I'll say, hey, I'm so excited to see you tomorrow. I have everything set up for you and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, or you and your 2 other girlfriends. I, just want to make sure nothing has changed. Are we still good for tomorrow's day and time? Okay. And if she's like, nope, we're great. If you've heard from her twice, you're kind of like, okay, this is going good, right? The chances of anything happening, I mean, the sky could fall, but if the sky doesn't fall, the chances of her not showing up are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. So the morning of her appointment, so say her appointment's at 11 a.m., around 9 o'clock, I'll say, hey, Jessica, I'm so excited to see you today. Just so you know, you can park anywhere, like any excuse to reach out to them. I give them parking instructions. You can park anywhere by the mailbox. Please text me when you get here so I can greet you at the door. That's my way of like, okay, if anything has happened, I'm going to hear it right now. Like, it's going to be like, I am so sorry. I woke up and I am sick to my stomach, or I am so sorry. I just got a phone call that I have to pick up my son from school. He's in the nurse's office. Or I'm so sorry. I just got called into work and I wasn't expecting it. So that is going to be that one slither of a chance that she is not going to attend, or she's going to say, okay, perfect. Sounds great. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to get up, get ready, put my makeup on. I mean, this is 2 hours before her appointment. The likelihood of her not showing, and she's responded to all 3 messages, is very slim. I'd be really shocked if she did not show up and stood me up. I would be really shocked. So that is what I do. It's like 3 touches before the actual appointment. So there is really, really great communication happening. I'm expressing how excited I am. I am repeating what she has already told me. So the date, the time, how many are attending. And then I'm just giving her basic like parking instructions. Please text me when you get here. I'm attaching my address again. So she doesn't have to go back into the messages and try to find it or locate it to do that. And so that is how I do my confirmations. I do not book them and assume that they'll show up. They will hear from me 3 times before their actual appointment. And it could be 3 times within a week. They will hear from me. And I like to say things like, I am confirming, I'm getting appointments ready for the week. I mean, I'm getting product ready for the week, for my appointments. I'll say something like that. I'll also say, I just want to confirm I have enough seating and product ready for you gals, that there's going to be 3 of you. Anything that prompts a question to where she needs to answer. Okay. I don't just say, hey, can't wait to see you Thursday, smiley face. I'm kind of like, I ask specific questions like, hey, I just want to make sure I have enough seating for you gals. I still have you +2. I'm confirming appointments this week because I want to make sure that I have enough product and I'm getting that ready. Like certain things that are going to be like prompt some sort of response. Okay. That is going to be, it's simple, it's easy, it's basic. And I make sure I just do those three touches. Now, if I don't hear from her, what like likelihood of her showing up, right? So if I send a confirmation and she doesn't respond, okay, maybe she got busy. So I'll send another one that says, hey, I'm not sure if you saw my message yesterday, but I'm so excited to see you, blah, 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 blah. Please confirm your appointment, da, da, da. Nothing. Hey, I'm so excited. You have an appointment tomorrow. Please let me know by such and such time. If not, I'll assume that you're not able to make it. Nothing. Do you think I'm going to get dressed up the next day and start squirting my trays? And no, I'm probably going to get on the phone and start booking again. See if anybody can do a last minute. Since I've already blocked that time off, I'm going to reach out to some and say, hey, I have an opening that just, I just got an opening for tomorrow. I know it's short notice, but are you able to make it? And do my best to try to fill that spot. And if I don't fill it, then that's okay. I'm going to book, and I'm going to continue to book for future dates, and I'm going to continue to do my job. And if I've already had that time blocked off, I'm going to utilize that time to do maybe a power hour or customer communication, or do something that needs to be done in my office as a part of discipline with myself. And if I have absolutely nothing to do because I'm super rock star and I'm on top of everything, I might just go get a pedicure. I might say, you know what, I'm going to take one for the team and get a pedicure. This is going to feel great. And I'm going to be ready for my appointments on Friday. And then just move on about my life. And that is my tips on communication and confirming your appointments. Back to you, Cheryl. Just kidding.
Yeah, to me. No, that's great. So what we're really talking about is, you'll hear this a lot in our business, the skill set of our business, right? This is one of the really important skill sets, but I think it can be the most confusing and like ominous, sort of like, what does coaching your appointment mean, right? So we book the appointment, we coach the appointment, we sell product, and we build our team. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So last week we talked about how do we book the appointment? Well, that was step number 1, right? Step number 2 is how do we coach it? And so that's what Tanya was talking about as far as confirming and communicating. That's really all it is. It's not booking the appointment and skipping all the steps of communication and assuming that they're going to show up for every reason that Tanya just said. And so I think so I'm here to kind of tell you a little bit more about how we coach those appointments when it really comes to a party, because coaching a party can be a little bit more in depth than what Tanya talked about, where she is confirming someone that does not know her that has booked a facial. Remember, in our booking process, we talked about what are they getting from you? How did you meet them? What kind of appointment did you sell to them? Like, what are they coming for? And if they don't really know what they're coming for because they put their name in a facial jar that you have, or they were a referral for from a customer, and you're talking about their complimentary Mary Kay Beauty experience and the skincare that they're going to get to try and the hand treatment and the lip treatment, like, you just want to confirm the appointment so that they're excited to show up and connect with you and meet with you. In that process last week, we also talked about telling her that she can invite her friends, right? So if it is somebody that has never met you before, your coaching process should probably be as absolutely simple as possible. So in some of the steps that I'm about to go over, I want to make it clear that for somebody that does not know me, I may not do every single one of these steps because I feel like it's going to be overwhelming because she already doesn't really know what she's coming to, right? So that's where Tanya's communication is coming in. Confirm with her, confirm the amount of people that are coming, make sure that she knows what's going on, keep her excited. And your job is to get her in your space so then she understands what Mary Kay is about. She understands what a Mary Kay experience is. She understands what a facial is. She understands every piece of that, right? That's the coaching process of an appointment like that. Beyond that, let's say that you're working with customers that you have, or you're scheduling somebody that came as a guest to that person's facial and got the experience, connected with you, and she wants to do the same thing with her friends. That is what we call the art of booking parties from parties. So that kind of takes it to a different level where you can really incentivize them, get them excited, get their friends excited, and have a preparedness ahead of time that looks a little bit different than just trying to get somebody to come and connect with you and understand what you are about. Does that make sense, the difference between those two? So when somebody already understands what you do and they understand that they are having a Mary Kay party, that process is a little bit different than somebody that has never met you, that doesn't really understand what she's coming to. okay? Whether or not she brings her friends with her. So that brings me to a very small tidbit about hostess programs. Hostess programs are fantastic because they incentivize the person that's bringing their friends to do certain things for their party in order to get discounts, free products, extra gifts, and things like that. This training is not about what hostess program you should choose. So this is the point that I will say, if you have a hostess program that you love, that you can talk about, that works for you, keep it. If you don't know what a hostess program is and you don't know what to choose and you're really confused, that's when you reach out to your director and you say, tell me about the hostess programs and what would you suggest that would work best for me? And your director is going to give you some suggestions and some insight as to how they work. So that's the first thing you need to do. Do you have a hostess program? Because there's a time and a place to use a hostess program. And sometimes I'm not personally convinced that a facial jar lead is where you start talking about a hostess program off the bat. Now, your facial jar lead shows up with 3 friends, and you can say, guess what? Susie's getting some great stuff just because she shared her appointment with her friends. She didn't know this, but let me tell you what she's getting. And Susie's going to be like, oh, I had no idea. And you're talking about these discounts that she's getting and all of this because you're connecting with her and she's already in your space. You're doing that because now you're selling your hostess program to her 3 friends that are sitting around the table and they want the same thing, right? So you need a hostess program. You need a hostess program so that if you want to ask a customer or a customer asks you, hey, can I have a party over at my house? I have some girlfriends. I haven't seen them in a while. I think that would be really fun. What are your hostess incentives? Maybe you have somebody that loves hosting all of the direct sellers parties, right? And they want to know what your incentives are. And so you're going to have people like that. That's where a hostess program comes in. And that's part of the coaching process in certain situations. Okay. And so you're going to see in literature that I'm going to show you things about the hostess program and understand the difference of when you really talk about it, when you, I don't want to say push it, but when you really coach through the hostess program and when it just kind of becomes an, oh, by the way, and then getting her friends excited about it to book a party from a party. So that's the first part of that. Okay. So here is one resource that you're going to have in your coaching process when you have people that understand that they're hosting a Mary Kay party. Okay. And the first one is actually the last page of your booking handbook from last week. And so I'm going to pull up that last page just to show you, to remind you what that looks like, except I have to get to the right screen real quick. So hang on just a second. That's this one. So this is really great. This has so much on it, more than you would ever think. This full circle coaching. So again, this is the last page of your booking handbook that once you have booked the appointments, you can make copies of this and use this for each time that you are having what you like a legitimate Mary Kay party, right? And again, not every appointment is going to call for all of this stuff, but every appointment calls for some of this. Okay. And so this is just a way that you can, in one place, track the entire process of the party. And it's great. So you've got the hostess info, you have all of the class info so that you can track that. You have her date, you have the guest list. All right. So part of the coaching process is, who would you like to share your appointment with? That's part of the booking process. Part of the coaching process is, hey, what girlfriends said yes that would join you? And would you mind giving me their phone numbers so that I can be prepared for everybody? That is the art of getting a guest list. We keep this simple, you guys, simple. You are simply asking them who is joining you and would you mind if I would reach out to them so that I can be professionally prepared, and it'll actually save a lot of time at our appointment. That is probably one of the most effective ways and simple ways that I have found for women to be like, oh yeah, sure. It's Kaylee and Sarah and Megan, and here's their numbers, right? It's not intimidating. When we overcomplicate things and over explain things, people can be like, I don't know, it seems, do I want to, you got to keep it light, keep it simple, and they're going to roll with it. Your confidence and your professionalism, they're going to feed right back into that. Okay. And so you can write down their names and their phone numbers that she gives you. And then you have all of these great bubbles, and I'm not going to go through every single one of them because we have a lot to get to tonight. But this is a skill that you learn the more appointments and group appointments that you hold, parties that you hold, is to understand all of these things and to tweak them to your personality and what works for you and what you find is the most effective way to coach your appointments, your hostess program, if that makes sense. And so this is a great guide. I'm going to go over some of these things, okay? But I'm going to come back to this. What I want to share next is something that's called pre-profiling your guests. Why we should consider doing that and the process of doing that. Because when you do have Mary Kay parties, this really does help your parties in a multitude of ways. And this is going to be one of the resources that is emailed to you after this. This is not in your workbook. Okay. So you're going to have this, later. I have to switch over my PDF here, but I'm going to go through this with you and tell you my thoughts on why it's important to do this. And everything that we do and everything that we teach, it's kind of like in the perfect Mary Kay world, you would hit every single one of these steps and it would all work out perfectly. And you'd book it for this date and she'd hold and she'd communicate with you and she'd get you the guest list and you'd have enough time to get with the guests and you do X, Y, Z. You know what? It's going to work out like that sometimes, you guys. And you're going to be like, this is golden and I am on top of it. And I am an amazing Mary Kay beauty consultant. And sometimes there's 5 people are going to show up. And it was just kind of chaos and you didn't really know what happened. And it all happened so fast because like Thursday, you booked them for Saturday and you weren't really sure what was going on. And that's okay too, you guys. So whether it works out to where you hit all of the coaching steps or not, but you can't just book the appointment and skip the coaching and then cross your fingers and be like, I hope this is great. So it's going to kind of go a multitude of different ways. What we're trying to do in this coaching process, and I realize you guys are probably reading the screen, so just kind of stop reading for just a second, because I want to talk about mathematics for just a minute. The reason that we're doing all of these steps is if you book 10 appointments for the month or for the week or whatever it is, only 3 to 5 of those are going to hold. The math when it comes to appointments that hold typically on average is 1/3 to 1/2. 1/3 to 1/2 of your appointments are going to hold if you coach them. If you don't coach them, very few of them are going to hold. So your numbers are going to still have attrition to them during this coaching process. So what we have to look at this coaching process is I am going to maximize, this is what Tanya said, I'm going to maximize the chance that she is going to show up because I have done my job communicating. If at the very end of everything, the sky falls and something comes up and that appointment falls off your books, guess what? I want you as the beauty consultant to say, I did my job. That is not on me. I booked this, I confirmed it, I did every single step. That is not on me. That gives you such confidence to know that that's just a numbers thing and that you can move on. You can reschedule her. You can hold your appointment the next day. You can hold your appointment later that day. All of that. That is what this coaching process is about, is giving you the confidence to know I did my job and I did everything in my power to hold this appointment. So pre-profiling, when you have a party and she's bringing her friends, why should you pre-profile for your parties? Number one, it encourages your hostess to let you know who's coming. All right. As soon as they can and invite people, like actually let them know it's happening. Right. Number two, this one's really important. It allows you to build rapport, to build a relationship ahead of time with the guests that are coming. It gets them encouraged. You're enthusiastic. You're professional. You have stuff specifically for their skin that they're going to try. Oh my gosh, Reagan, I can't wait for you to try the microdermabrasion. That is going to take care of those pores that you would like to minimize, right? All of those things. So we are connecting with the guest so that the guest is like, I am going to that Mary Kay party. That sounds fun. She's expecting me and she asked me all these great questions. And plus, for those people that are kind of like women of their word, and I am definitely a woman of my word, if I have talked to the lady that's in charge ahead of time, I am much more likely, I would show up anyway. But don't you feel like you would have a little bit more of a draw to show up because you spoke directly to her, right? So that's the other reason that we do it. And then number 4, you're able to prepare for anyone's special skincare needs. I mean, I think that's important to know what you're walking into, to know, like, you know, I don't know, just to know what's up. How do we do that? Okay. And so once you get the guest list and she says, oh yeah, it's Sarah and Susie and Megan and here are their numbers, then you can even, and if she's hesitant, well, first of all, you have to pre-profile her, right? So part of the being confident in getting the guest list is saying, hey, Reagan, this is what I'm going to ask your guests. So let me get your information first. And this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to call them or I'm going to text them. And she's going to be like, oh yeah, okay. So I haven't really ever had issues getting guest lists, you guys. I know that's a concern of some beauty consultants, an obstacle that some can run into. I've never had that issue. I keep it simple. I keep it real. I tell them exactly why I need it. And I typically get it 90% of the time. And so this tells you when to call them, when to text them, and what to do. But what do you say? All right. Now, as we talked about in booking, communication styles are different, you guys. Some people like phone calls, some people like text messages. You can even ask your hostess, would your friends prefer that I call them or text them? That's the day and age that we're in. So I find that your personality and your relationship can be built a lot better with a phone call where they can hear your voice. But I also understand that logistically, text message can be a lot faster and just as effective for the guests that are coming. All right. Especially if you're kind of making your phone calls in the middle of the day. So you can, if you're making a phone call, let me just run through this really quickly. It looks like a lot, but it is not. It's just a conversation, just like a booking script. So I would pick up the phone if I was calling and I would say, hi, Reagan, this is Cheryl and I'm the Mary Kay consultant having the party with Tanya on Saturday. Did I catch you at an okay time? Okay, great. I'm calling to get to know a little bit about your skin so I can be professionally prepared for your skin type and needs. Is that okay with you? All right, great. So first of all, tell me, is your skin normal to dry or is it combination to oily? Okay, great. And is your skin tone ivory, beige, or bronze? Okay, great. And Reagan, what are you currently using to clean your skin? Okay, great. Have you ever had a Mary Kay facial before? Now, there's lots of things that go into this one and you can kind of read along with me. If she says no, you're like, okay, great. And you keep moving on. If she says yes, okay, great. About how long ago was that? Oh my gosh, it was 20 years ago. Oh, it was when I was in middle school and my mom had a party for me. Oh, it was a year ago. That's going to tell you a lot about her Mary Kay experience. So here's your next question. Okay, great, Reagan, do you have a Mary Kay consultant that is currently servicing you? No, I don't. Okay, great. Yes, I do. Okay, great. Reagan, so this is how this is going to work. If you fall in love with any products at the party, you're more than welcome to purchase them from me that day. But after that, I'm not going to follow up with you and allow your consultant to service you. Does that sound okay? She's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Couple last questions, Reagan. If you could change one thing about your skin, what would it be? Oh my gosh, I still have acne-prone skin. It drives me crazy. Or I have these dark spots that I just can't get. Or my skin is so dry and I cannot find a moisturizer that's going to help me. Okay, great. You know what, Reagan? I'm going to have something perfect for you. Let me tell you about our microdermabrasion. Let me tell you about our, I can't wait for you to try it at the party. Last thing, do you have any additional questions or concerns about your skin that I can address with you either now or during the party? Any allergies, skincare concerns, anything like that? No, I think I'm good. Okay, great. All right, one last thing, Reagan. Tanya only has room for 5 of her best girlfriends at her party. So if for any reason you can't make it, will you just promise to let us know as soon as possible so we can fill your spot? Okay, great. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. So it's a conversation, and I have accomplished so much in getting the answers to these questions. You guys, this is how I pre-profile. This is what I want to know. You may want to know a few different things, a few less things, a few more. I don't know. I wouldn't do more things, but in learning this about my guests, I'm going to know how to squirt my trays before the party because I know normal to dry and combination to oily. I'm going to know what foundations and skin tones to be prepared for because I know ivory, beige, and bronze. That's important to me. I am in a city where we don't have a lot of bronze skin tones. And if somebody does say that, I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared. I never want to show up at a party and be caught off guard having not the right stuff. That is my comfort zone. I want to know, right? The Common courtesy on number 3 is to know if she already has a Mary Kay consultant. I want to know that ahead of time. I want to know how to work with her and if I'm referring her back to her consultant. I want to know what she wants to change about her skin so that I know what products to really talk about and personalize it in the party to each individual person. I want to know if Mary Kay's made her breakout in the past. I want to know if she has rosacea. I want to know if she has any concerns. 9 times out of 10, everybody says no to that question. But if somebody has something or has an allergy to, I don't know, a tree nut, I might have time to just make sure that there are no tree nuts in any of the products that I'm going to show. I'm going to do that work for her. And she's more than likely to show up because I said, you know, I'm going to look into that and I'm going to make sure that we're good to go on that. All of those things. And then the very last bit is just about communication and confirming and to letting her know that it's important that she comes because there's limited seating and that we want to fill her spot if she can't make it. It's like, hey, you're a VIP and there is a spot for you. All of that is encompassed in this little thing. Now, let's just say you're like, oh my gosh, my hostess said, so you guys are going to get that, okay? And that is my pre-profile script. That is how I was taught 15 years ago and what I have used this entire time, maybe with a few tweaks, all right? Real quick, before I get into the texting, what do you do with that information? Okay, option number 1 is you can have the profile card in front of you. And you can have, you know, her name and you can kind of get some information. She can fill the rest out at the party, but you can start kind of filling in the gaps. Now, the current profile card that I pulled out doesn't go exactly with the questions that I showed you. So again, you can tweak your pre-profiling. Mine is just a suggestion for you. It works for me. But if you want to ask the questions that are on the profile card, you can do that as well. Okay. I want to know a little bit different, a little bit extra, just because that's the way that I have always prepared for my parties. So you can use the profile card and then it's like, you know, Susie's got her profile card next to her tray and she can finish filling out her contact info and all of that kind of stuff. Okay. That's one way you can do it. The way that I do it, honestly, I grab a piece of paper and I make an entire list of everybody that's coming to the party with all of the information so that I just have it there and I set it for the party and I know normal. And then when they sit down, I have them fill out their profile card completely. Whatever works for you, you do you. Okay. Those are just a couple of different ideas. I have it in one spot. You can use the profile cards. Both system works beautifully. So the texting might be a little bit overwhelming with all of those questions. Here's just a suggestion. And what I found worked really well for me, because as you can imagine, people get lost in text messages, right? They answer like the first 2 and then you lose them to something else, right? And then they kind of ghost you and they don't answer because they got busy, the kids, all of that kind of stuff. So one tip that I have found through pre-profiling via text message is, let me share my screen on this. I created an image. Number 1 that has my photo on it, because without my voice, I want them to know who I am. So I basically text the same thing. Hi, Reagan, this is Cheryl Romero with Mary Kay, and I'm the beauty consultant that is having Tanya's Mary Kay party on Saturday. I do the same thing in the beginning. And then I say, I just have a couple of questions for you so that I can be professionally prepared. At your earliest convenience, could you read these and just pop them in a message to me? I'd really appreciate it. And so I just put it here. And instead of like doing the back and forth, typically I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all their answers in one message that I can still connect with them and I can still have a conversation about those things. But I've got all the information in one message instead of like, okay, great. And then going on to the next question. Okay, great. And then going on to the next question. So this has worked beautifully for me. I just made it in the Pic Collage app. You can make it however you want, but she can also connect with my face so that she knows this is the beauty consultant that I'm going to be meeting on Saturday. And then I do all of the same things. I'm so excited to meet you, blah, 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 the same end of the script. So that's just a tip. I find that works out really well and it's really concise and simple. And so lastly, before I hand it over to Reagan, is back to, I have so many windows open up. I'm so sorry. Back to your unit booking your full circle coaching. Okay. So I'm going to just pop it up here on the screen one more time before I hand it over. You can track all of these things. Okay. You know, as you were preparing your hostess for different things, you know, do they have childcare arrangements? All of these things, you can read it. You guys will understand what it means. But I love this because it walks you through what to do before the party. And then we're not even to this point yet, but we're going to pull this back up when it gets to what do we do after the party? Well, you guys, it's all right here. And so you just get to go choo, 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 choo. And if it wasn't like, if it wasn't applicable to that appointment, you just don't check it off. And so again, this will walk you through all of that. But I just wanted to, you know, briefly go over, why do I pre-profile? What does that do for me? And why do I think it's important as a part of that coaching process? And I think that is all that I had to share. And, you know, again, I just encourage you, do some sort of coaching confirming. All it is, coaching equals communication, right? So now that you've coached your appointments and she's excited and she's coming and she's bringing 3 of her friends, how do we prepare for that? What do we need? And that's what Reagan is here to share with you.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Are y'all like, I love it. And Cheryl, you do such a phenomenal job of having detail and strategy and structure, and yet reminding us that this is not complicated. Right. It might, when you're new, I mean, if I were to go, my very first day of work at Sonic was overwhelming. You know, my very first day at any new job was a lot. The first day of school is a lot. So anytime you're learning something new, it can seem like a lot, and that's normal. However, what she has given you, you can listen to this again and again, because it really is very simple. And it's giving you the information that you need as a beauty consultant to be a prepared professional. However, keeping it light, keeping it fun, because we want to be prepared, we want to be professional, but we want her to experience the party. It's fun for her. It's light. It's simple. This is not a doctor's appointment. You know, this is fun for her. And so, Cheryl, you do just such a great job of balancing that. And I just want to say, in case y'all maybe for a split second are thinking that maybe you don't want to listen to 100% of what she has to say, I'm sure none of y'all are thinking that, but she has already completed the Company Queen's Court of Sales, like halfway through the year. Two-thirds, whatever it is, through the year. She already completed the Court of Sales. And this is how many years now?
Oh gosh, I think like year 7 of the court.
Yeah, I mean, just lost track, you guys, just lost track. And so, you know, this is something that has proven to work year after year after year. So Cheryl, thank you so much for that. And
absolutely. And I'll just, and to that, keeping it light, let me just repeat that you might not hit all those steps and it might not even happen. Like that's a perfect Mary Kay world where you get to do all of that. And you're like, wow, that was amazing. But don't not go forward and have the hostess have a great time and you show up to the party not really having a clue what's happening, because you're going to have fun too. Those are some of the best parties too. So whether it's over here or over here, have fun, keep it light, but just know that those things can be helpful if you have the time and, you know, to be able to do it. So that's my best advice.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I really love the idea of having, I like using the profile cards. I like having a profile card and starting it for each person, because that also gives me, for those who end up not coming, even so for those who do come, it's great because you've already got her name, you've already filled out some of the information. She's able to continue to fill it out. And for new consultants who don't know this, I do think this is a good time. Or are you guys going to talk about this next week? About the fact that there's a carbon copy? Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say this now. So when you look at this, for new consultants who may not realize, on this side, it asks the question. When you open it up, it actually gives you the products that are recommended. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, oily combo moisture, I don't even know what to do with that. You don't even have to know what any of that means yet. You can actually hold your first skincare party by asking these questions, circling it, and then it will tell you which products she should try. Okay, so I love it. It's a total cheat sheet. I absolutely love it.
And they didn't have that when I was new. So, you know, this is great. That's great.
Yeah, it's so, so good. And so you can, if she doesn't make it, now you have a system for follow-up. And you can even have, like I have my index cards January through February. You could even use that as a system of, or add her now to your booking list, that booking, the bubble sheet. Now she's somebody that you're going to reach out to and again and again and again until she says she's not interested or until she books with you. And so I love using that because then it's just one system, but you may be like Cheryl, where you just like to have it all on a piece of paper because that's just simpler and it works for you. So you get to just, I love it.
Have it somewhere. Yep.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm going to talk about how I prepare my party tote. All right. And just so you know, this is my party tote. Okay. It's right here. This is literally what I'm showing you. Obviously, I am going to have my profile cards or hostess pack. All the information that I need for that party is just going to be right here in this front pocket. So whether it's a piece of paper, whatever it is. And then what I do, I want to share with you a little bit of just the general of how I organize my products. So when I open up my bag at the top, I have my trays and mirrors. And don't worry, I'm going to come back to this. And I have more normally in there, but I took them out just for ease. I have my Skinvigorate Sonic Brush because my hostess gets to use this. So I have my Sonic Brush at the top. And then the rest of this is almost like, it's like a filing cabinet. See how I can access any of these things. Okay, so the rest of it is organized like a filing cabinet. And you can do it however it makes sense to you. What I like to do is I use these are the Mary Kay mesh bags that our mirrors come in. You can order more. And I have my extra, Q-tips and some extra just foundation brushes, cotton balls, headbands, washcloths. This is just my extra so that when someone's like, can I have another washcloth? Like, absolutely. Then I have the products that I need before we start using our skincare set, like the oil-free eye makeup remover, and the satin hands and satin lips. Now, what I do is I get in the section 2, I get the smaller satin hand set, again, just for the sake of space. Now, if you don't have every single skincare line like I do, I have every single skincare line in this bag. Can y'all believe that? If you don't, it's fine, and you will have room for a full-size satin hand set. I highly recommend using full-size retail products as much as you can. For one, I believe it shows and sells better. People want to see I don't want them to see that they're getting this for $24. I want them to see that they're getting this for $24. And our packaging is beautiful. You guys, we're an international, worldwide, multi-billion-dollar company. We invest in our product branding. And so the look of the product sells along with actually, the quality of the product. So that really helps too. Let me make a side note because I'll forget to come back to this. I personally do not sell out of a roll-up bag. Now, I have a roll-up bag at the end. We'll get to that in future lessons. I don't do my parties out of a roll-up bag because I don't want my customers to ever see a dirty, used roll-up bag, ever. I want them to only see a pristine, perfect, brand new roll-up bag with all of the products filling it that as my display. All right. So think about this. If you were to walk into like Neiman Marcus and you were to go into the shoe department and you saw a pair of shoes that had been worn for 3 years and had the heel was broken off and the toe was pushed out and the muddy on the side, like they'd been used. Is that going to appeal to you the same way that a brand new pair of beautiful, expensive, amazing shoes is going to look? What about a handbag? Are you going to want to purchase a handbag that's all worn and torn and falling apart, and you've seen like just how it's been totally used and abused? No. Now, our roll-up bags hold up. I still am using the same roll-up bag I've had for years, and I use the heck out of it. So they're very durable, but I have seen some people sell out of their roll-up bag and like a tube leaks and they don't look pretty. And so I just don't recommend that. So that's why I use these bags in order to put all of my products. I have our botanicals in here. I have our naturally line in here. I don't know, these came in something else. So you may have to, it's a little bit harder to find, but I had these bags that are a little bit wider, but we always have different bags, or you can find things at Michael's. In fact, Jennifer was just talking last week about the bags in Hobby Lobby. So for our repair set, I have these older bags that came with a different thing, which we probably have on MK Connections, something that would work for this. But these are just older that have lasted so long. I also have our setting powders. And then I have a bag that has all of the CC cream eyeshadows and lip glosses. CC cream eyeshadow, lip glosses, and the foundation primer are all in this bag because that is my dash out the door look. All right. And so those all fit in one of these bags. So these go in here like in a filing cabinet, because I don't use all of these products at every party. I'm able to just pull out what I need. That's especially helpful if let's say I'm doing a facial. I just want her to see the products that she's using, because a confused mind does nothing. If you confuse her and overwhelm her with too many options, she's going to get a mascara instead of a $200 and whatever $15, Voluform repair set, because she's overwhelmed and she doesn't want to make a decision because she's confused. And so we don't want her to feel overwhelmed. We don't want her to be confused. With my trays and mirrors, what I do is I have everything that I need for each person. So I'm pulling my chair back up here. I have the beauty book. I have the tray ready to go. I have the headband, the washcloth, the mascara wand, the pen, everything that she's going to need. So I'm able to, I used to not do it this way. I used to just have all the cotton balls and all the mascara wands and all the things. But what I found was when I was doing 30, 40 plus faces in a month, I was more likely to run low on something and not realize it. And so what I learned to do is I would pack, or have my assistant or my kiddo pack however many I needed of these for the month, because I don't have time every week to wash my mirrors and reset this and place an order and wait for the order to come in. And so it's really good is when you're packing these for the month and you realize that you're almost out of tray inserts, before you need them that you need to order them. And so the way I do it is I organize it. I just have a shoebox. This is how I organize a lot of my supplies. And I have, the washcloths, the stuff, and I have everything in one place. So whoever I have filling my bags is able to do that. So I'm just going to share with you so that I'm not going to go through it because you absolutely can look at this and we're out of time. But I just want you to know that this is in the resources that are available to you, and it has everything. This is what comes in your starter kit when you get the $130 bag. So if you have a team member that wants to come in and she is going to do in-person appointments, I highly recommend getting this bag, because not only do you get over $400 worth of retail product, you are getting hundreds of dollars worth of supplies. You're getting the lookbooks, the trays, the mirrors, everything. So the value in this is huge. Now, if she is not going to do in-person parties and she knows that she wants to right off the bat have a Zoom or Facebook party to launch her business and place her first order right away, that's the only time that I would really recommend doing the eStart. And then here are the things that I recommend. So I've got these categories. This is the literature and education materials. These are the tools. And then these are the resale products or retail products or samples. And so I actually have all of these things in my bag right now. So this is so that you can have a place to double check. And then the second page of this is actually my Glamour party tote. That's a roll-on. I actually carry that when I'm doing a Glamour party because I'm able to fit all of my other things. And we'll do that in a different training some other time. But that is available to you, especially with our makeover challenge that we're doing right now. It's a great idea to take a look at that, of what you might want to have for Glamour appointments. So I think that was everything as far as just how I pack it. Oh, I do have a couple of important things. Also in my bag, of course, are my closing sheets, and you and your director can talk about what closing sheets are. Any other tools, like if you do a book to look party. I have a little gift bag with raffle tickets and a couple of pre-wrapped prizes ready to go for my party drawings. And then the last thing, I always have a couple of our Mary Kate full-size bags. And we'll talk about what we do at the party and after the party, but every single thing that needs to be dealt with in my party at the end of the party goes in this bag. So the trash goes in the trash, and everything, all of my trays and mirrors, because they need to be cleaned, go in here. Let's say I'm doing a CC cream and I realize that one's almost out. I'm like, oh, shoot, I need a new one of the light to medium. I put the tube in the bag. That's how, when I get home, anything that needs to be dealt with is in this bag. All of my sales tickets, all of my profile cards, everything is in this bag, because all of my product went right back where it was. So when I get home from my party tote is already packed and ready for my next party. The only thing I have to do is put fresh mirror bags that are already pre-packed in there. So it does not take me any brain power and almost no time to be prepared for my next party. In fact, it might be an hour later, right? And so I've already got everything except for my mirrors are ready to go. Okay, so wow, lots of really good information. Do we have any questions for Tanya or Cheryl or myself? Because questions can be so helpful in clarifying. You might have a question that would be helpful for other people to get answered as well. Anita, you're muted. Are you sharing?
No, I just wanted to say I like how you put everything in the individual bags for each of the mirrors and for each of the customers already all put together, instead of separating it out and at the class and everything. I thought that was pretty good. Or how you had it all together as one already. I thought that was pretty good.
Great, thank you.
So, and I like how you had everything all organized in there. That was pretty.
Isn't it great that everybody kind of has their different systems and kind of organizes their party totes differently? I learned so much too, Anita. You see my party totes consistently.
Well,
and so
you're all organized too.
Well,
so
I know,
it's just,
but same thing. I was like, wow, I like it, Reagan. Okay, this is good.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's like organizing your kitchen. You can learn from others, like, oh, I never thought to do it that way. But the most important thing is that it makes sense to you, that you're able to find what you're looking for when you're looking for it. I think less is more. And so I don't want my guests to see any more products really than what I want them to see at that exact party. And I'm a huge stickler on keeping it to the Ultimate Miracle set or the Ultimate Repair set, and maybe a dash out the door, not bringing a lot of supplements, because I do think our sales go down when our customers get confused. And it also is why we have that follow-up appointment, so they can do customized skincare and some glamour. So keeping it really simple, and keeping it simple for you. So being able to repack your bag. So when I clean up my party, everything has a place. And so for me, that was huge. It was really important that I could do it quickly and efficiently and not have to come home and redo the whole thing. Because I ain't got time for that. Neither do you.
I ain't got time for that. Awesome. Any other questions or any comments?
I do need to give the secret word because that was one of the things that
yeah, we almost forgot. And then Jasmine does have something to piggyback on too.
So before the recording stops and before I forget, your secret word of the week is gift. Gift.
Good thing you caught that. I almost forgot about that too. All right, Jasmine, did you have something, honey, you wanted to share?
It might be a silly question, but like, what if like men wanted to come and do like skincare? Like, could you do that except for like the makeup part? But like if they wanted, because my grandpa, he wants some of the retinol stuff for his face too. So is that fine if you're able to bring men to like skincare parties like that?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Men have skin too. Men have skincare needs. You know, some of us might have men's products to demo. Some of us might not. And I think that it's okay for them to come to the appointment, try what everybody else is trying. And then at that individual, you know, one-on-one at the end, to be able to give him his options. Say, you tried this, we have this, you know, because some men may want to use the men's stuff and some men may want to use other stuff. And so keep it simple and don't feel like if you have different ages, different genders, that you have to show 5 skincare lines at one party. I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend everybody trying the same thing and then you customizing your recommendations at the end to them. And we'll learn that in the coming weeks. So that's a long way of saying absolutely they can come and try for sure.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And one last thing. Sorry.
Okay,
so would there be anything like for Father's Day that we do stuff like that for the guys?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do one, Jasmine. Okay. We'll do a men's one.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that idea. Doing an MK Men's. And yeah, a lot of men like the repair and the Time Wise before we even had the men's, but the MK Men's line, and they can definitely participate with the Volume for Repair or whatever you're doing. And as you get, like, I'm to the point now where I can have 2 or 3 skincare lines kind of going at a party. And I actually have my skincare sets totally separate on purpose for that. But in the beginning, just doing like just the repair, everybody does the repair, but then you're letting them know what their specific customized thing. And we'll talk about that next week when we talk about what to do actually at the party for sure. But Laura just posted in our focus group that she just had a party with at least one guy there right now. So that's very common and a great idea.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then there was a question, Lana was asking about where we find the resources. And so each director, I think, is sharing those in a different way. So ask your director. We'll just let your director communicate that with you because we're all sharing them in different ways with our consultant.
Yes. And I believe the one that Cheryl showed was in the booking package from last week. Yes. So that was in the email, also in the weekly email, if you go to the booking.
And then the 2 additional resources, which are the pre-profile script and the packing list, those will be provided in the way your director provides it. So Lon, I'll let you know. I'll remind you of how I send those as well. So great question. Yeah, if anybody even watching the recording ever has questions where to find resources, please reach out to your director and we'll make sure you have what you need.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to stop the recording, but ladies, y'all stay with us because we're going to do some recognition and finish up our evening. So those of you who are watching the recording, thank you so very much for participating in our Focus Forward. And we hope you learned a lot, and stay tuned because next week is where we do start talking about, okay, now what? How do I actually hold a party? What do you do? And how can I keep it simple? So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Yay.